Hi, I'm Fred Stern. When I visited the PTG Foundation's museum recently, I took a quick iPhone video. Later, it occurred to me I could use that video to create a brief, informal tour. As we enter, we see some photos of PTG history on the wall to the left. The first piano we come to is a late 1850s Chickering Cocktat Grand, so called because its tail is canted toward the treble, so that it will take up a little less floor space. It has a beautiful rosewood case and a brown action. The treble has 3 strings per unison, but the middle one is raised above the other 2 and isn't struck by the hammer, so it only resonates sympathetically. To the right are glass cases displaying a number of tools and fixtures, as well as some documents and books. Ahead is a little George Rogers Grand, built in 1919 in London, with a downward striking action. The action is just like an upright action rotated 90 degrees. To tune it, you need to remove the keys and play the notes by using tabs that activate the weapons. Down this central corridor are cases of tools from the collection of Jack and Rick Wyatt, on loan to the museum. To the right is a Babcock square piano from about 1830. Babcock is best known for having invented the one-piece cast iron plate. That plate isn't present in this piano, but it has another of his innovations: bass strings wrapped with steel ribbon instead of wire. Next we have a Ross West Brown melodeon from about 1860. It is essentially a reed organ with the case in the shape of a square piano. A Roloff piano made in Germany about 1840, in a design often referred to as a dog kennel for the opening in the bottom. A typical tool case from the late 1800s, including a 2-headed tuning lever for oblong pins. A 66-note Story and Clark Grand from the 1950s. A pianola push-up player built in 1908. It was a predecessor to the player piano and could be pushed up to any piano to play it. A Mason Hamlin cabinet reed organ, small, easy to transport. A down-striking 64-note piano built by Lester in cooperation with Pratt Reed from the 1940s. A number of toy pianos of various shapes and sizes made by Schoenhut, on loan from Jack and Rick Wyatt's collection. A selection of electronic tuning devices from the early Kahn stroboscope through the Hale cytotuner and the standalone Verituner. A large number of action models from historic times to the present, many of them made by Jack Wyatt and on loan to the museum. An 1860s Victorian upright of 5½ octaves made by Bell Organ and Piano in Canada. A Virgil practice clavier, a silent, waitable, adjustable keyboard for finger exercise and developing precision without producing musical tones. A 1939 Story and Clark electric piano, the first electric made in the U.S. with strings but no soundboard. A logbook from the Krakauer Piano Company from the museum's archives. Many Golden Hammer winners have donated their awards for display here. A square piano made by Emilius Schur in Philadelphia around 1830. It has an elegant case, brass flanges, and a graceful hammer shank shape. A replica of a 1780 square piano in the Smithsonian, built by the Connecticut chapter as a bicentennial project. A giraffe piano built by Frank Toup of Louisville, Kentucky in 1895. The beautiful case copies a style that was built in the 1700s. The museum's oldest piano, built by Gabriel Buntebart in London in 1782. It is one of the earliest commercially viable pianos with a very simple action and case, affordable by people of the middle classes. A spinet grand made by Mathishek in 1936, a square piano with a modern grand action, made to fit in smaller city apartments. A table piano built by Henri Pape in 1834. It has a downward striking action, and the soundboard is in the very bottom of the case. A square piano built by John Geib in New York City about 1803. It is very similar to the Buntebart in its action and design. A Mason Hamlin screw stringer upright from the early 1880s, tuned with a special square-tipped wrench. A sticker upright from about 1840 built by J.T. Murray in London, a very tall instrument with extra long stickers. Takes a long reach to tune it. A Heinzmann transposing piano from 1897 built in Toronto. The keyboard can be shifted a full octave from side to side. The Chickering upright, owned by Laura Keene, that was present in the Ford Theater when Abraham Lincoln was shot. It was one of the first modern-style uprights built in the U.S. from 1858 and has an overdamper system and a shift mechanism for the soft pedal, like an unicorda on a grand. An 1871 Bechstein upright with a decorator case in Art Nouveau style. A piano in the shape of a desk built by the German maker Heppner, probably in the early 1930s. And finally, an 1828 upright built by the Parisian maker Souffleto. The front of the piano hinges away from the back, revealing the soundboard and strings, making string replacement convenient. The strings are at an oblique angle. Interested in learning more? Take a look at our website, ptgf.org. Click on the Museum menu.